Hello, everybody. My name's Catrina Lowri, and I am a neurodiversity specialist who works with diverse educators in order to improve inclusion for neurodivergent pupils. So I'm neurodivergent myself. I have a diagnosis of dyslexia and bipolar condition, and I have traits of dyspraxia, inattentive ADHD, and auditory processing disorder. So I now run my own consultancy business, working with schools, nurseries, colleges, and businesses to improve neuro inclusion for people with a range of different neurotypes. And I also work with diverse educators in a range of different roles, helping with training and development of anyone really from early careers teachers to head teachers. And I've been really, really fortunate to meet and work and support lots of different people during that role. So previously to running my own business and founding NeuroTeachers and working with diverse educators, I worked in schools initially as a modern foreign languages teacher, but through various twists of fate, I meandered into special educational needs. I became a special education teacher, working in special schools and also mainstream, primary and secondary level. And then I also worked in special schools as well. And I've taught children with a full range of ability from, pre-verbal, non-speaking, with significant learning difficulties, profound multiple learning difficulties, all the way up to post-18 A-level standard people who are doing tertiary education. So I've had quite a broad career in terms of the people who I've supported throughout my sort of 25 years working in education. Latterly, I was also a Senko, and also I was an advisory teacher for a number of years as well. So that's a little bit of background about my career. Why I started to do DI work is because I'm really passionate about creating a sense of belonging for children and young people within schools. I've also work very closely with neurodivergent professionals, particularly neurodivergent teachers and support staff. I started a support group called the Neurodivergent Teachers Network, which is across most social media platforms, but most popularly Facebook. We've got around between 700 and 800 members of neurodivergent people across a range of different countries. It's a safe space that I've created. And I feel that neurodivergent people have a lot to offer. We have a range of different skills. That's why we evolved all these different kinds of minds and brains. And I think a lot of us didn't have a very smooth ride through education ourselves, but we are passionate about passing on the knowledge and the expertise that we have to the next generation of learners. And I really genuinely am quite excited about the idea of removing any kind of barriers around that. So that's why I do the work that I do. I'm also really interested in intersectionality, as I've done quite a lot of research into neurodivergence, specifically autism. I am an autism specialist. I have a master's in autism, and I've worked quite closely with the University of Birmingham on one particular project around autism and exclusion. And one of the things that I'm particularly interested in is how pathologized neurodivergent conditions have been, whereas I see much more of a social model. And one of the things I find particularly interesting is how difficult it is to get a diagnosis if you're from any other kind of protected characteristic, such as you are a race other than white, Anglophone, Eurocentric, you are a gender other than male. And so that's something that I'd like to explore more, and I'm working with colleagues on, which is why it's really great to be part of a group of really exciting and innovative associates, such as those, my colleagues who are associates with diverse educators. So the impact of what I've been doing has actually been really exciting. So I set up my company 3 years ago, and I've been working with diverse educators for about 18 months now. And what I've seen has been really exciting. So I've developed some mega fans who've come to see me talk or listen to me talk on various different occasions. And I feel like it's a very exciting time, particularly in terms of neuro inclusion, because the word neurodiversity is now out there. We're starting to think about different kinds of minds and brains because there's a huge skills gap in just not only just education, but pretty much across the board in all areas of employment. People are starting to think about different skills that they want from people. So going forward, I think in terms of the world of work, we're going to need lots of different kinds of brains and minds and skills and diverse ideas and opinions and points of view. And I'm starting to see that this is making a massive difference, particularly with the schools and nurseries and colleges that I've been working with for a number of years now. Particularly proud of the fact that I've done some work quite recently with um, young people who are NEETs, so not in educational training, who are neurodivergent, who weren't initially identified. But over the last kind of 3 years, this little cohort have gone from pretty much being bedroom kids to being able to, you know, go to college, get some qualifications, possibly get a job, have relationships, do work experience, do hobbies, go out and engage in the community, go to the cinema with friends. Um, and I feel that that's a really exciting thing on a micro scale. On a macro scale, what I've seen is when I've been doing bigger pieces of work with schools and local authorities and MATs, is it's about culture change. And I think that that's one of the most exciting prospects. I say the word exciting a lot, don't I? I think that that is probably one of the areas of development that I'm most inspired by, because I feel that through doing this kind of work, it's that idea of cathedral thinking. I think it's Dave Whitaker, who's a well-known head teacher and writer from the north of England, who talks about cathedral thinking. So we shouldn't be just building schools and nurseries, colleges, education, places of work, universities for this generation or for our children, but what's it going to be like in 100 or 200 years time? So we're really laying down the foundations for something very exciting and inspirational. And I'm an optimist, as you can probably tell. And if what I'm saying is of interest to you, then and you'd like to hear more, then please do contact diverse educators and let's see if we can work together to improve neuro inclusion.